Dear Mom, thank you so much for being my mom. If I had a different mom, I would punch her in the face. And go find you.
That's so sweet.
That would make you cry, wouldn't it? You'd come downstairs and you'd cry. You really would. And March is, because of Mother's Day, there's a lot about mothers and your experience of being a mom and your own mom.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I was disappointed.
Why?
That your story about your mother's health advice to you was not in this book.
Yes. No, I chose to leave it out. Are you asking me to tell you about
the
it?
stick and make you tell us.
Well, my mother was a person who, in later life, chose to work with people who had all kinds of complex needs and problems. So she became a little bit boundaryless with me, let's put it that way. And there was a time when I had hepatitis A, which is a kind of food poisoning, and I was very poorly. And my mum came to look after me, the way your mum does, to cook you some chicken soup and whatever, give you a bit of succor. And she sat on the end of my bed when I was really weak. And my mum was very straightforward. And she said to her, right, we need some truth now about how you caught this Hep A. Like that. They even called it that, something modern like that. And I said, well, Mum, it's, you know, it's food poisoning. I don't know, I've eaten a bad sandwich or something. She went, no, come on, let's have the reality here. Let's face it. I know how you caught it, you know how you caught it. You need to face up to it. I thought, what's she talking about? I was so weak. And she said, we all know what you were doing. You've been rimming. Seriously? That word came out of my mother's mouth. I did not know what to do next. I don't think she even really knew what she was talking about. I hope she didn't know. But I was ill for a further week just because of the shock of it.
And then in February, obviously...
It's true, sadly. Shocking.
That's funny.
I really did not expect that.
I didn't see that one coming.
My mum.
Because, Maxine, now, some of the parts you've played over the years didn't thrill your family.
No.
No, because Shameless was quite out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Shameless. Everyone loves Shameless. Was it your mom had the real problem with Shameless?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, when people used to say, oh, what have you been in? She'd go, dinner, ladies. That was all she was proud of. Shameless was a little bit too much, you know, topless ironing and, yeah. Was too, yeah, for anybody.
You did say
If anybody's mum, not even mine, would have been, you know.
Yeah, other people's mothers.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Because Seth Rogen...
Yes.
Your parents... No, your parents, it's lovely. They're very supportive.
They are.
I think we've got a picture of your mom, Sandy.
That's my mom.
Mom Sandy. Now, is she Mrs. Rogen?
She is, yeah.
Mrs. Rogen.
Mrs. Sandy Rogen. Yeah.
And now this is cool. Like, what a cool mother she is. Because you tweeted a link to a video you did. You tweeted this thing, want to know how to roll a joint? Let me teach you. You did do this.
I taught people how to roll joints. It's community service, technically, so yeah.
You care too much.
Exactly, and it knocked a few hours off my sentence, so that...
And very sweetly, Mrs. Rogen, your mom, tweeted this. That's so great. So proud of your great abilities.
She's proud of me.
No, but please tell me, is this tattoo fake? This is a picture of your mom.
Oh, this is horrific. Yes, thank God that is fake. I genuinely do not like looking at that picture. There's something so weird.
That was made Knocked Up, right?
No, it was, I don't know what it's from.
It was made on Knocked Up because we all had them.
I think it might be, yeah. There was a point where that was a thing, I guess. But my mom put it on her upper breast, which is horrific to say. And it's horrible. It looks like something a prisoner would send me.
What happened, Mom?
Yes. Why, Mom?
But now, your mom seems, you know, she tweets, she's good with technology.
She does.
But lots of examples out there of parents not quite getting the hang of texting. I don't know if these are real, but they're out there, and they're quite funny. So here are some of them. So there's a mother texting somebody. I think there's something wrong with my phone. I don't think my texts are going through. Yeah, they're getting through. How can you be sure? so many parents do this one. This is somebody texting their mom. I got an A in chem. WTF, well done. Mom, what do you think WTF means? Well, that's fantastic.
It should be.
I mean, those are tricky, but then this is so sweet. So a mom, because I didn't know for a long time how to use emojis, but the mother's found emojis and she's delighted with herself. Off she goes. Oh, geez, little chocolate kiss. With eyes watching over you. It's a poop with eyes, Mom. And then the dreaded predictive text, which that's not just parents, that's the bane of all our lives. This is from to a father. I heard Mom got stung by a few bees this morning. Is she okay? Hospital? She's okay now, no hospital. She had to take the deep penis. Sorry, what? I had to inject her with an epic penis. Oh, for Christ's sake, EpiPen! Well done, the parents. Very good. Now, in terms of mothers, obviously Steven Spielberg had this very dynamic mother. Now, Ozzy, I'm interested in your mother. Was she, like, obviously she was driven, but was she...
She's not.
Like, was she...
What is going on?
No, was she... do you call her a pushy mother, or was she just ambitious? What's the story?
A determined, strong mother.
Okay, good words.
Yes.
Yeah, put those on the CV.
She's gonna watch this, Graham.
No, but you've got a new name for her now.
Oh. What is my new name for her?
It's based on a film you saw.
Oh, we saw King Richard.
You know, the Will Smith, the tennis.
Is she King Richard?
I mean, sort of.
Ricardo.
So we watched the whole thing. I watched the whole thing with a big bottle of vodka. And I was like, oh, my God, this is us. This is our life. This is what's happening. And I just went home and I was like, Mom, you really pushed us. And she goes, I know. That's why you're so great.
Anyone on the couch? When you've been to award shows, the Oscars, the Golden Globes, you've all taken your parents, which is, I mean, that seems, you know, to have four of you all do the same thing. Touching. It's lovely. Now, Ryan, your mom, I mean, I'm sure she likes meeting the celebrities, but isn't it the gift room is really her thing she enjoys?
I don't want to out my mom like this. I will tell a funny story about that picture, though, which is that my mom was convinced that year by her friend that beehives were going to be all the rage. And if you didn't have a beehive, you'd feel embarrassed. And it turned out to be the opposite. It was a natural hair vibe that And my mom sat in front of Rachel Weisz, and her hair was so high that Rachel had to keep... And my mom kept sinking in her chair, and I didn't know what to do because I was, you know, I wanted to have a nice night, so I didn't know Meryl Streep, but she was sitting next to me, and I said in a commercial break, would you mind just telling my mom you like her hair, you know? Aww. And she was like, I got this. And then the commercial went, she goes, do you know, I wish I was going to do a beehive, and I wish I had. My mom was like, raising the roof all night.
Does she already know that story, your mom?
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, you ruined it.
She doesn't watch this show. No,
She'll never see this.
Yeah. Peter Crouch, you've had a night out with my mum.
I have.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether you'd remember this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It was at the Isle of Wight Festival.
The Isle of Wight Festival, yeah, she was going for it. She's a lovely lady.
She is a lovely lady. It was so weird. She went to a festival for the first time ever. The first picture she sent me was this, which is like... yeah, 6 roses. She went on her own. And then I got a load of garbled, like, slightly drunk messages saying, oh, I'm with Peter Crouch. I was like, what? And then she sent this, and that's you and her. And the festival. I was like, well, I hope she's not, like, bothering you. And then, like, 12 hours later, I got another one.
It was like a change of clothes.
Yeah. That was day 2.
Yeah.
You know,
What happened that night?
I can't tell you. It was a great night.
I instantly regret bringing this up.
She was on her own.
What?
She was on her own.
Have you got a sister? She not with your sister?
Well, I might do now.
Very tall sister, yeah.
This is very exciting. OK, first person in the red chair. Hello.
Hello,
What's your name?
Celine.
Hello, Celine.
Hi, Jack.
What story have you got for us?
Well, this is my second visit to the Red Chair, actually.
Oh.
I was here 8 years ago.
Right.
And I told a story that I thought was really good about when I was living in France and something happened with my daughter. However, a certain guest on the sofa that night really did not like my story, and he was rather rude. He actually said, "Is that the best story she could come up with? Who does she bloody think she is?" Funnily enough, my daughter met this person at a nightclub recently.
Oh, my God, it's me.
Yes, Jack, it was you.
I sent you a message, didn't I?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
No, thank you very much. You did apologise.
I know, I'm so sorry.
OK.
Oh, that was so awkward. Oh, dear. OK, who's next?
Hi, Jack.
Oh,
Surprise! Surprise! Hi, Peter. Hi, David.
You're looking beautiful, Hilary.
Thank you, David. Jack, I thought you might like me to come on here and actually tell you what actually happened in the Isle of Wight.
Because, Kate, obviously your experience was so different because, you know, Goldie and Kurt, they were in the... So were they super protective of you?
No. I mean, you know, I think I like came out like a can girl. Like I came out doing high kicks, and my mom was like, "Uh-oh." Like, and I think it was more about them wanting me to stay in school and not like feel like I needed to be like performing and doing things all the time. They wanted me to have more time, like as a kid. But I was like, from 10 years old, I just wanted to be on a stage.
Yeah.
Then it was like once I was 18, they just were like, "Bye, have fun," and.
But you say that, but it sounds like your mom is still quite involved. I read a story somewhere about like you were giving birth and your mother was very...
Oh, she is involved. When she's there, she's involved, and then she goes. She was like in my vagina. I mean, it was like a mother couldn't get more inside of a birthing vagina than my mother. And she had these like reading glasses on that had lights on.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was out of a comedy. I mean, it was like
Goldie.
literally. Oh, she.
What a privilege, though.
Go.
I mean, you know,
shouting at the baby, "Follow the light! Follow the light!"
Both of the kids. But the thing is that having mommy there, as funny as it is, was really special. Yeah. So she is involved.
It's really lovely about your parents. Just tell us about your mother. I'm sure she was always an interesting woman, but later in life you discovered she was really interesting.
Well, yeah, because when I was about 10, she went off to do a part-time job at the Foreign Office, where she'd worked when she was much, much younger, before she had a family. And my dad would drop her off at work at this building in Lambeth, and he'd go off to the hospital, and sometimes I went with him or whatever. And then cut to years later, when they were both well retired, and I opened the paper one day and it said MI6 building to be sold, and I thought, that's Mum's workplace. And so I phoned her up, and she was in the garden, and she went, "Hello, dear." And she came in from the gardens, and I said, "Did you work for MI6? And she said, "Hmm." And I said, "No, but did you? You were a spy. Wow." And she said, "No, I did some filing," and which is what it turned out she did. But it was quite sort of classified filing, and I only discovered this years later. And when she passed away, I asked my dad if she'd ever talked about it. He said, "No, I had no idea what she ever did," because...
But they allowed you... Didn't MI6 allow you in and showed you all the secret files and things?
Well, they didn't show me secret files, but they did very kindly...
they show you secret files?
They didn't show me secret files. They did not show me secret files. Please don't tie me to a chair and ask questions. No, but they did actually ask me in to do a sort of lunchtime chat. They were having this sort of sequence of chats to sort of from outsiders, really, to come in and just, you know, natter to the boys and girls who work there. So I just did a talk about, you know, about my life in the industry and people who'd inspired me along the way and that sort of thing. And then I met a man afterwards. He came up to me and he was roughly a bit younger than me, but he said, I worked with your mum, and that was just astonishing because she was a few years gone by now.
Yeah.
And he said we were in our section, up in the, whatever it was called, P section or something, and we'd hear these footsteps on the corridor coming out. Quick, there's Pat, quick, look busy, look busy. And that was the weirdest thing. It was I knew what he meant by those footsteps. I remembered those footsteps, and we were connected by a sort of sound.
Yeah.
And I'd never met this man, but suddenly I felt really a wonderful sort of connection. It was amazing.
Despite all the success, is it, I mean, is it a story that you still live at home with your mum, or do you actually live at home with your mum?
No, I live at home with my mum. I hope
you're paying her some rent.
There she is. That was on Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
That was on Wednesday, so Thursday was the press conference, Friday, and then we fought, so...
Yeah. And your mum didn't watch the fight?
She... like that, you know, it's that... how you feel.
Has she ever been able to watch?
I took her to the Olympics, and that was it, but... As I said, I don't think fighting you do for passion, it's not a job career. So I don't like... It's not like I'm going to bring my mum to work day type thing. You know what I mean? So I kind of keep it separate. I do like to keep it separate.
But she approves of the fighting. She doesn't...
Because of the person, how I am now.
It's funny. My dad said to me when I was at secondary school and I was being bullied, he took me to a room away from my mum and he said, this is when you need to prove that you're a man. This is when you need to show strength of character. Because he knew it was happening to me. And I really listened to him, you know, and he said, you turn around and hit a bully once and you'll never get hit again. So I did. The next day I went in and I did hit the kid jumped on my back and I turned around and hit him and he beat the
So he didn't teach you the fundamentals to the
Everyone was clapping.
But your mum likes a scrap, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's harder than me, for sure.
Yeah.
She had a play fight with my dad once and chased him up the stairs and punched her way through a toilet door.
That's what I'm telling you.
I don't want to get into that.
Margot, I don't know if you were a terrible child, but do you know the story I'm talking about where, like, you do not win any awards for being a good daughter?
There are many stories where I don't win awards. I was not a great daughter. I am forever in my mum's debt because I was such a brat. I feel really bad about it.
Tell us the story about when you were on your computer and she wanted your help.
Oh, yes. Yes, OK, so I was on MSN, obviously the most important thing at the time.
Got us in the details.
And we lived out, like, you know, out in the sticks, and often snakes would get into the house and... you know, it wasn't a big deal, but you just have to, like, chase them around and get it out, and it's kind of time-consuming and annoying. And so my mum yelled out, and she was like, can you come help me? This snake's really big, like, I can't get it on my own. Can you come help me? And I was like, I'm so busy, Mum. No, I can't. Like, just being a brat, because I was on MSN. And she was like, oh, OK, you should please. And I was like, be gone. And, and then she was gone for, like, 10 minutes, and I was like, oh. She's been gone for ages. And then I like, got up from the computer. I could hear, like, this, and I was like, oh, God, what's happening? And I see Mum, she's, like, made it halfway down the stairs, and the snake, she'd tried to, like, pick this big python up with a broom and a stick, but it had wound its way up around her arm and was going around her neck. Like, trying to
I love Australia, but I would never be able to live
No, I know,
there.
I'm painting a bad picture. It's really not bad, but... and it wasn't poisonous. It wasn't a poisonous snake, but they do strangle you. Yeah. And I felt so bad. And
get it off her?
You just got to give it something else to climb on. So you get a stick or something, it starts weaving its way around that, and then you can transfer its weight and
good to know.
Get it off.
Yeah, that is top tip,
Or
though.
you grab it behind its head. You grab it behind its jaw.
Oh, they hate that. They hate
Well, you just don't want it to bite you.
But was your mother okay?
Yeah, she was fine. But I felt bad, and I tried not to be such a bright... When Mum asked for help in future, I kind of did it.
A lesson
A
learned.
lesson learned.
Very good. When you talk about parenting, there's lots about your mother in this book, and sometimes I think family members, they don't like being part of the act. Your mother loves it.
Yeah, like, she loves it.
Yeah.
Like, properly loves it. And she also feels that there's a certain amount of status that's come with her level of celebrity. One of the things she loves doing is she gets nervous when she's at a shop that they might not recognise her. And so, regardless of what she's buying, she will always sort of pay with her card and make sure they see the surname. Just sort of go, yes, that is Ranganathan, correct. So she feels like she's won the lottery or something. But one of the things I keep having to say to her, she's just overthinking it. She wrote off her car at the beginning of lockdown, and then she couldn't get any... All the car places are closed down. She was trying to get a replacement. She's a key worker. She works for Royal Mail, so she was trying to figure out a way to get to work. And I said to her, just take my car. I've got a Mini. You can just borrow that for as long as you want. And so she borrowed the car, and then it got to the point where we were talking about getting another car. And I said to her, what do you want to get? And she said, you know, the problem is, Ramesh, is not as easy as just buying a car, because I'm a celebrity's mother. And with that becomes a certain amount of expectation. I don't want people to think, oh, why is Shanti driving this? I said, well, I can tell you what, Mum. I said, why don't you just keep the Mini? It's you know, just have it. It's fine. I don't mind. And she said, darling, I don't think I should be seen driving a Mini. I said, Mum, the celebrity that you're a mother of drives the Mini. How can it not be good enough for you? Yeah, it's just she just properly loves it. She just really does get nervous about bringing across that status, you know.
And I have to say, I hardly recognised you because, of course, we're used to you with the big, luxuriant beard.
Yes. Well, I'm doing a show with Rob Beckett about drag, and so we're sort of looking at the whole culture and the art of it, and part of that is that we're developing our own drag act. And so a few days ago we had our first kind of attempt at getting our looks, and so I thought it would be great to, you know, commit to it properly.
Yes.
And shave my beard off. And I've got to be honest, I regret it hugely, because before, you know, I had a kind of a hipstery beard, and now I look like I work for Google. It's not been great.
But here's the weird thing. I think often men think, oh, if I drag up, I'll look gorgeous because you'll be wearing makeup and, you know, I'll look better than I normally do. And I think normally men look terrible, worse. Ramesh Ranganathan, no. Look at this. How...
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Shantae, you stay. Nuts.
Yeah.
Do you have a name?
Gorgeous.
Well, based on how I look, Mum would be... because I look just like her, which is a little bit horrifying. But I haven't... So that's the next stage of this. So that was us getting our look. And then now we've got to work on what the persona is.
Is this for one show, or is it a whole series?
Well, it's a series, but we're only looking at drag for the one show.
Seems a lot of work to go to for one show.
Well, I just sort of feel like...
It's not for a show, is it?
I was going to say...
Yeah, a show.
No.
Sure, OK.
Yeah, I mean, listen, am I going to carry it on afterwards? Definitely. But, an act. Yeah. I mean, it'd be something to do the encore at the end of the tour.
Well, listen, now, obviously, you know, you're getting great success now. You're on Sky, you're, you know, ITV, Channel 4, you're here.
Yeah, I'm really successful.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Hey, that tracksuit didn't bling itself. You know.
Right.
Yeah. But you were kind of a self-starter. You made these YouTube clips.
Yeah, because I didn't know anyone in the film or TV industry. It felt like this quite far away, inaccessible world. So the closest thing to me was the internet. And I just used to make comedy videos online. But I knew my parents wouldn't be on board with my career plans. So I decided to put my mum in the videos so that she would be emotionally invested.
Smart.
Good thing.
Yeah.
And then the video started doing really well. Like, I started getting loads of views, and I was like, OK, this is not so bad. And one day, I got a call from a producer in India, and she was calling from, like, the biggest television network in Asia. And she was like, we're casting for a lead role in a primetime TV series. And I was like, OK, I've never thought about Bollywood, but go on. She was like, oh, no, we don't want you. We want your mom. So I go to my mum, and I'm like, Mum, some producer wants to put you in her TV show. You probably don't want to do it, right? My mum's like, well, no, I'll give it a go. So we film an audition, right? We send it off. 3 months goes by. We don't think much of it. And then I get a call from the same producer. And she's like, oh, my God, your mom is amazing. We want to cast her as the lead role, send her on the first plane to Mumbai. So this is what happens, right? My mum moves from Essex, working as an English language tutor, flies over to India, starts working as a Bollywood actress, ends up being there for 5 years, becomes a household name in India.
Wow. We've got a picture. Is that her in the show?
That's the show she's most famous for. It's called Ye Hai Mohabbat Hai. Doesn't she look lovely?
She does.
She's really in her element.
And then you've given us some other pictures. What's this next one? This is her with some dancers, I think.
This her with backup dancers, living her best life. You know, I know I should be happy for her, but this wasn't the plan, Graham. She's getting more attention for something I did to get more attention from her.
But when is this recently or?
No, this was a few years ago. She's like.
You weren't on telly at all. It was just her.
You know what I was doing at the time?
No.
I was working Sports Direct. Imagine doing that job every day, knowing your mum's on the other side of the world getting her own backup dancers.
I like that. She won.
Yeah.
Well, listen, actually, Mohan, I hope our next guest has been listening because his mother has a similar love of the limelight. Please welcome, live from LA, Oscar winner, Matthew McConaughey, everybody.
Good to see you.
Oh, so good to see you. I don't know if you were listening there, but I mean, you've talked to us about your mother before. She quite liked it when she got to step into the light.
Oh, very much. Very much. Liked it maybe more than I did. Right after I got famous, so to speak, after A Time to Kill opened up, our relationship was a bit tight for a while, meaning things I would share with her might show up the next day or the next week in the newspaper. Or, for instance, one night I'm at home and I get a call from my buddy. He goes, "You watching this?" I go, "Watching what?" He goes, "Put on Hard Copy," which is one of those 6 p.m. sort of gossip shows, right? I put it on. And there I see my bedroom with my mom leading this cameraman through my bedroom that I grew up in high school. And she goes, "And this is the bed where I caught him with Melissa. I was really tell him that because she didn't really last. And this is his bathroom. And in the shower here is where I caught him doing you know what, but don't worry about it." And she's going on, and I'm going, "Mom, what did you do?" And she goes, "What?" And I go, "Mom, I hear it in the background. You're watching it too at home." And I'm watching it. What the hell is going on? She goes, "Oh, that. I didn't think you'd find out." And I go, "Mom, it's on national television."
There was a lovely thing you said where you were thinking about coming back, and you said it was the sort of the spirit of your late mother kind of spoke to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The last time I was here with you, actually, it had been 8 years since my mom had passed, and she passed while I was doing Sister Act here.
Is that 8 years ago?
Yeah.
But I read a thing, it was really sweet. I think you hadn't really like made a bed, you just sort of started making money.
Right.
And your first thing was, "Mom, I want to get you a treat."
What's the thing you've always wanted but never thought you'd have? And she said, "Well, I would like to have an ermine coat and a beaver bowler hat. The beaver bowler must come in a box. It must have the brush, and it has to say it." And I said, "Okay." I didn't know what a beaver bowler hat was, but somebody told me. And then I got it for her, and she never wore the coat. She only wanted the coat so that she used to lay it on her bed, and all she wanted to do was, on the days when she was feeling out of sorts, she wanted to take it off the bed and drag it down the stairs.
So sweet.
It was really cool.
Oh. About, dealing with parents and having to take care of parents and everything. But even at your age, Caroline, your mother, has your mother been banned from fashion shows now?
She should be.
She sounds like a liability.
Yeah, no, Mum, you're not, don't worry. So she, I mean, parents can be you know, it's embarrassing at these things. And my parents are very proud and amazing and adorable. Oh, there she is. And I think she came to a show and she was backstage with me and they were like ushering her to her seat and she walked down outside backstage, the middle of the catwalk. Just before it was about to start and people were trying to get her to go. She walks down the front row and I see her on the camera from backstage spotting people in the audience in the front row and walking up to them going, say, I think she tried to walk up to Anna Wintour and go kiss her, say hello and kind of, and wouldn't sit down. People were trying to start the show and they had to like literally physically grab her in some chair somewhere.
Yes,
very funny.
But it must be lovely, you know, for all your parents to see your success and kind of to enjoy it. Because was it your mom was on the set of, was it The Waterboy that she came to the set?
Sure. Yes. My mother, she has humiliated me a lot, yes. But she doesn't know when she's watching the monitor and she has the headphones on that she can be heard, and she was, you know, watching the monitor while I was doing my Waterboy acting, and I don't know, she's just nuts, my mother, but she's a good, lovely lady. I just remembered a story. It was funny about my mother. And like 20 years ago or whatever it was, I was at the Golden Globes. I got nominated for a Golden Globe too. So I took my parents, just like you. I took my parents, and they kind of actually they invited themselves. But anyway, I remember my mother just gets excited, like your mom, to talk to people or see people or screams out, is that? So somebody gave my mother the thing, like, if you're gonna point at somebody, do it like the point in a different direction and we'll follow the thumb to who you're pointing to. And so she's like, what? And it's like, you point that way, but the thumb is who you're talking about and you get away with it a little better. Like, is that, Baba? I swear to God, Elton John was about 8 feet away, and I'm seeing my mother getting all crazy, and then she starts going, "Is that?"
Now, listen, Tom Hanks, your famous being lovely to fans. That you're very nice, you go see it.
I try to be.
Yeah, no, you're very good.
Yeah, I try
and
to
David,
be.
you're a big fan, but someone else in your family is also a very big fan.
Yes, my mum's a big fan. And we were in a restaurant at the River Cafe probably about 7 years ago. And my mum had drunk a bit too much and she suddenly felt a bit ill. And I led her outside to the tables and you were sat at one of the tables. Ooh. And she stopped dead and I had to sort of drag her like you would a donkey on a beach away from you. You were so excited to see you.
Well, how ill was she? Otherwise, she could have stopped by.
She may have thrown up over you.
Well, that would never be.
She's here
in the audience
tonight.
And let me see if I can figure out who she is.
I can see her already. She's blushing. She's smiling. Look at her. Look at her.
Oh my!
Look at her. She's gearing to go.
Come here, love. Come here, darling. I see you. Give us some loving now. Give us some sugar. There you go. Have you been drinking? You haven't been drinking anything. You're totally sober. Have you been smoking? No, you haven't been smoking. All right. She's a good mom, isn't she? Look at your boy. Are you not proud of your lad down there?
I'm very proud.
42 million books have been sold. One of these days, he just might win an Oscar. Very lovely, very lovely.
Made her life back. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
She's a good mom. You got a very good mom.
Very good.
Says that. No respect for your mother. Was he a good boy? No, come on. Off the record, was he a good boy?
Sometimes.
He's showing off now because you've met Tom Hanks.
Is Amelia's mom's here, is she?
Yeah, so is Mum.
Oh, they're sorry. Because the last time you were here, you were telling us that when you did the Han Solo movie,
Yeah.
your mom went a bit overboard.
Well, yeah, this is it. I mean,
merchandise.
Mum's here, she knows the story, but basically she came on set one day and it was the day that we were getting cyber scanned for the toys and all of that. There's a lot of merchandise for the Star Wars movie. And so I was busy doing that and wasn't looking at what she was doing. And she'd befriended the head of merchandising for all of Star Wars and was like, could
Would you mind? Would it be all right? Is her face on anything cool? Can we get that? Can you get it? This is the address. Thank you so much. And then I was away.
And then this is Amelia's bedroom.
I swear, there's like only one of these things, and Mum got them made specifically. And Malcolm was like, no. Oh dear.
But that's your mom. It's your mom's job to love everything you do. But you were saying how your friends don't even pretend.
No. Well, it started as like, we can't afford to like stream the Game of Thrones on Sky. We don't have the money. We can't. Sorry, Amelia. And then it was like, yeah, we're going to try and illegally download it or whatever. And then it got to the point where I was like, season 8, and I'm like, guys, I'm going to have a screening of the last episode. And they were like, so we have 7 3/4 seasons to like catch up on this Sunday. Yeah. No, I think, yeah. But it's a little rude. I mean, they do. No, some of them do, but just some of them don't, really. I don't know. It's me. They're like, well, it's, you know.
Your friends are just sat there going, look at her, pissing about on dragon.
I know, yeah.
Ridiculous.
But your mother sounds like a force of nature.
She's a force of nature. Oh, look, yeah, that's my mum.
Oh.
She's cool. And she's so unfazed by everything. She came to set, and I was kind of worried about bringing her to India because of all these guys on the film, and we got her a room, and I'm like, Mum, you have to be good when I'm on set. Do not pester anybody. And I come back home, and she shows me a camera, and she's got like 50 different poses in like 8 different locations with Maggie. I think she pestered me. Hotel, like charms. I mean, she had to entertain my mum. And Bill, she's like, people from the hotel, just everyone. It was really just, yeah.
And was it your mother? It seems like a twist. It was your mother who kind of forced you into auditioning for Skins.
Yeah, she did. I owe a lot to her. Yeah, she saw this open casting call. And I was 16, and she saw this thing, and she dragged me to this big casting call. I thought she'd gone crazy. And we queued outside the National Youth Theatre, and there was all these like drama types doing their vocal warm-ups and like limbering up, and I was there in my backpack and my school uniform with my mum.
Did your mother have any idea the sort of show that Skins?
No. I remember Jane, the casting director. She's like, Anita, Mrs. Patel, it is a little racy, but everything will be fine. And then the first episode, you know, get my cheeks out. Those cheeks, and you're sitting in, you know, it's Indian families are big, so she's invited everyone. Great-grandparents. I mean, I think someone must have flown in from India. I mean, next-door neighbours, anyone that walks past. She's put a banner outside the window trying to, you know, my son's on TV, and it was just so embarrassing. Was She was embarrassed, and then she was happy that I wasn't gay.
Every cloud. You, obviously, a very successful actor, but when you announced you were going to be an actor, were your parents supportive?
Not at all, no. My father's an old soldier.
Literally?
Yes.
Yeah.
My mother was a church-going teacher. She wanted me to be the Archbishop of Canterbury. And to be honest, I haven't given up hope. No. And it just, in that world, show business meant nothing. After 4 Weddings and a Funeral came out, and suddenly I was, you know, people knew who I was, my mum went to a dinner party amongst all these sort of like-minded people, and some man was sitting next to her and said, I hear you have 2 sons, Mrs. Grant. And what do they do? And she said, oh, well, one's an investment banker and the other's a film star. And he said, how very interesting. Which bank? That's the world I grew up in.
And Sebastian Stan, your mother, she is not shy of giving feedback or advice.
You know, when I told her I was going to play Trump, I didn't really know what she was going to say, you know, so I'd gotten used to now sort of telling people that I was going to play Trump in a cautious way, and she just sort of pondered it for a second and then said, oh, but you're going to have to shave, right? And I was like, yes, because I don't think he can grow. And she was like, good, because you look better when you're shaved. So she's probably looking at me right now going like, why is he on this show? But yeah, she doesn't hold back, and I love her for that. But.
And now, Greg, your mom, she's kind of the respectable one in the family.
Well, I mean, she's not, but she plays that part, you know. And I've spent years trying to out her, but she pretends to be respectful. She gets very cross with me when I come on shows and I say things that will embarrass her in the supermarket. And like our whole lives, my sister and I have made the last 40 years just trying to embarrass her, really. My sister's a mother of two. My sister's 52. And we go home and we both turn into kids trying to wind her up and trying to get a rise out of her and trying to embarrass her. And we were out once and we were joking, saying it was time that she got a new man in her life. You know, it'd been long enough since Dad passed that she should date. And she was going, I don't want to date. I'm not interested. And we were getting the local paper. We were circling pictures of farmers and going, this guy seems nice. And she was going, I'm not interested. She was getting more and more irritated. We were cackling. This is, by the way, last year. We were cackling like teenagers. And all of a sudden, she just went, hey, listen, we were in a cafe, and she went, hey, listen, I'm not interested, once and for all. I'm not interested in men. And then she paused, and she went, I mean, I wouldn't mind a quick fuck. And my sister and I went, ah! And she sort of mic dropped out of the room, just looking back at us going, yeah. And she went to the loo. When she came back, all of her arrogance had gone, and she sat down, and I promise you, she sat down at the table, and she went, oh, no. I went, what? She goes, you're going to tell this on Graham Norton, aren't you? Yes! Yes, old woman!
Off you go with the story.
Okay, so I had to take my 70-year-old Chinese mom to her gynecologist's checkup appointment, and I had to
Can I just say, already my hopes for this story are so high, I can't tell you.
So basically, we get to the office. I tell her gynecologist that I have to translate. The gynecologist has a smirk on her face and says, well, I'm going to have to ask you a couple uncomfortable questions, you know, to translate for your mom. So she's like, I need to know if your mom is sexually active, and I need to know how active she is. So keep in mind, she's 70 years old. So I translate in Chinese. I'm like, Mama, nia hao papa wan zhou ye ma. Basically, that means, do you guys still have sex? So my mom hits me on the shoulder. She's like, you know your dad. Of course we do. 5 to 6 times a week. So,
wow.
So basically, like, I'm completely embarrassed. My mom's not even shy about it. I go from, like, basically embarrassed to depressed. And my mom and dad is getting more than I am.
Can he walk? He should wear you to walk. Yeah.